Good morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Aryan Singh Rana, and in today's project, we'll be making a wishlist management app. Project is something like this. We need to create a wishlist management app that allows user to input and manage their wishes. The app should provide a user-friendly interface for adding new wishes, displaying the wish list, and implementing additional functionalities such as clearing all wish list and deleting individual wishes. This is the basic structure of the wish list that we have to create. It should include an input box with a label, two buttons, one to update the wish list and one to clear it. Uh, After that, the wishes should appear right below the input field, as you can see it over here, like this. And each wish should have a delete button along with it. So if we click on the delete button, only that particular wish should get deleted. And if we click on clear or button, then what should happen that each and every wish that we have included previously should all of them should get deleted. So now coming to the code that I have written, as you can see that this is the app.js file. This is the main file, and whatever we see in our web page is the result of whatever elements or components we are calling within this file only. So what I did, first, let me show you the three functions that I created. Now, the first function is add. It would add the wish list inside my use state. So I am using this app.js function as the holder for the or as pass for passing down the wishes and which wish needs to be deleted from one component to other. So app.js would be passing whatever information one component is given to other component. So the pathway would be like this. User input would be given from one component, then it would go to app.js. Then app.js would pass on that information or that prop to the output component. So now coming to the component section, I created two components for this. First is the user input .jsx. This is the section which will handle this portion of the wish list. So it would include the label, the input field, and two buttons. As you can see that it is including that only. First is the label, which is enter your wish list, and then comes the input box with the default value is item.updata. I'll come to how the data is being processed a bit later. First, I am simply explaining you the whole structure of the code. After that, I gave a line break to bring the buttons down. So this is how it would look like. So this section, which my cursor is moving around, which shows enter your wish list, the input field, the add button, and the clear button. Let's make it update because the assignment wanted us to make it an update one. Just a second. Update. So yeah, update. So this is how the first component is looking like structure wise, and it would be handling all the inputs that the user would be giving. Now coming to the store data section. In this the data will be showed over here in this section. So first, as you can see that I am using a map function over here to print my whole list. As you can see that send data dot map, and it would be returning a component structure like first the diff parent tag, then it would be showing wish list items, which is this one. As you can see that this is the one holding in the h1 tag, and then the UL tag, and inside the UL tag it is holding a variable which holds our list, each and every list component, which in turn hold whatever we are adding. So how the passing of inputs from this user input component would be taken place, which will be carried out to show data, and that show data would display that item. So first what I did is that in the app.js, I created a useState variable, which is a pass, and its setup function would be setPass. So the useState has two main functions. First is that it stores the state of a component in its in its memory, and when the component is rendered again, then that value is not refreshed. If we can access the previous value that was set in the previous render in the next render as well. And another thing is that whenever we use the setter function of the use state, then it triggers the re-rendering of the whole component. So it means that whenever I update my use state value, it would trigger for the component to re-render itself completely. So that's why I created the use state over. So as you can see that pass and set pass, and the default value of the pass would be an empty array. Now coming to the functions that I created. Now there are three functions. One is to add my wishes that are coming from the user input component inside my pass use state. As you can see that this is the update function, and it would update. It would use the setter function that I have declared in the use state to update the pass by first destructuring the current values, whatever value the pass array is holding. This dot is known as spread operator, and it would destructure the pass array, and then it would add. So this would give us the destructured array, and then it would also add the updata which is coming from the user input component, and then the setter function would update this whole array into pass use state. So now coming to the second function, which is clear function. Now this function handles whenever the user clicks on this button, which is clear all button, which means that each and every wish that was added previously should all of them should get removed from the whole list. So this would be handling that. What is happening in this function? Whenever the clear all button is being pushed, so whenever this button is being pushed, then this function delete items this function which is clear all with the parameter clear would get passed, and what would happen, it would check if the clear variable is true or not. If clear variable is true, it means that the user has pushed the clear all button and the value has turned true. So what it would do, it would call the set function for the past use state, and it would update its value into the empty list. Now again we are using array, sorry, array not list. Again we are using the array to print our each and every list, each and every wish item in the form of a list. So if the pass function sets the the setter function for the pass use state sets the pass value as the empty array, then each and every value or within that array would get removed. Hence, the show data won't be able to show anything, and hence the operation of clearing each and every wish item from the wish list would be done. Now coming to the delete item function. Now it is used. I'm using this function to delete a specific wish item that the user want to delete. Now how how it would function is that, let me just do something like 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the four items that I added. Now if I want to delete only this two item, this two wish item, so what I would do, I would click on this delete button and it would only remove two. As you can see that first it was 1, 2, 3, now it is 1, 3, 4. So this task is being handled by this function. What is going to do that? First, when we click on that delete button that comes right before the wish item, it would trigger this function which is delete item, and it would give us the index of the item that is currently inside the pass array at the specific index, and index is always unique for each and every item within the array. So after that, what would happen is that first I will copy the whatever the value the pass is currently holding in the temp variable using the spread operator. Then I will use the splice function to remove that single element. Now how splice work is that whatever index we mention, and then comes the parameter to how many items you want to delete. So if I mention one over here, so it would start deleting the item from the index that we are specifying in over here. And so what is currently happening? So whatever the index value is coming to us, this flight function would start working from that index and it would delete one item. Then what I am doing is that again I am then turning back the updated temp array towards the setter function for the pass. So the pass use state would again get a array, but this time the specified wish that the user wants to be deleted would be removed from the array. Now, how I am passing these function to my user dot input. User input component is that first, as you can see that I created these three functions. Now, as you can see that I first imported my component, and after importing my component, I called my component using these component tags, which is user input. After that, I am passing my props. Now, what the props are containing? My props are containing the functions that I just created. As you can see that the function that I created is add and clear all for the user input. So as you can see that I am defining the prop as add to the list and passing it the function that I just created for adding the wishes inside my wish list. And the clear, I'm also passing the clear all function as the prop. As you can see that it is also passing the function that I just created, which is clear all. We can see that the color of these text is yellow because the React knows that we are passing a function over here. Now, inside when we move to the inside of the component, what happens is that first, first this is the default statement for the component, and you can see that I am using the destructured form of the prop. So, as we know that only two props are coming inside my component, which is add to the list and clear all. Just a second. Add to the list and clear all. As you can see that in the app.js too as well. Add to the list and clear all. So these two variables are holding, or these two keys are holding the function that we passed from the app.js. So as you can see that this is the structure that I previously showed you. So first, what I did is that first I created a use state variable which is my item. Now, item is the I'm using this item to store a single wish item that would be passed from the function that I have given to this component through the with the use of props, and it would be passed to the app.js, and then it would be passed to the show data. So also I created a var type variable which is clear all. I use this var keyword because it is a function scope variable. So within this function, which, or you can say the within this component which is user input, I can use clear all variable anywhere. As you can see that okay, so as you can see that the clear all is a variable over here, and here as you can see that it has a capital letter A. So just distinguish between both of them. So now coming to the use state variable, as I told you, item is holding the whatever item user is inputting. So it would only hold a single item. After that, now comes to let me show you how we are saving the input that is the user is giving to us. So whenever the input is given in the input field, it would trigger this event listener, so which is on change. Now, what on change is that whenever the input field triggers, whenever there is a change within the input field, like deleting or adding a character or giving some space or anything like that, then this event listener would trigger, and the event listener would in turn trigger another function which is handle change. So coming to the handle change function that I declared over here, as you can see that this is our handle change function. So it would take a parameter E. Now what is E? And when we talk about the forms element, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that this whole user input thing is being made inside the form element. As you can see that this whole user input component is within a form element. So coming to the E input that this function is taking. Now E is an object, and every component, every element within the form has its own object, and its object, and whatever object it is, it holds multiple attributes, and multiple attributes have multiple purposes. Like over here, as you can see that we are using E dot default prevent default. Now, why we are using this? First, it would go to the object. We are naming the object currently as E. So inside E, there is a function known as prevent default. What is that? Does that? It triggers, it prevents the default behavior of whatever element we are currently using or currently targeting. So we are currently within the input field, so it would prevent its default behavior. Now default behavior can be something like when we push a button in the form, it defaultly refreshes the whole page. This is the default behavior of the React. that whenever we push a button in the form element, it will completely refresh the whole page. Now to prevent that, we can use the its object, and its object contains a specific function known as prevent default. So it would so whenever we imply this function, and then we go on to press the button, then it would prevent the refresh of the whole page. Now, on handle change. Now the input is currently detecting whatever change is being done. So what it would do, it would set item. It would use this setter function for the use state item that I defined over here, and it would give whatever the item is holding to the item use state variable. So as you can see that in the setter function, inside the setter function. Now, coming to the on handle change, what it would do, it would trigger whenever there is a change in the input field, and it would take the object, and the object has a particular attribute. The input field has its own object, as I told you, every form element has its own object. So the object has a particular key which is target, and the target holds the value, and the value holds the whatever input the user is giving to the input field. So as you can see that whenever the input field whenever there is a change in the input field, this function get triggers because of the on change event listener. And what happens is that it will set the item as this value. Now, as I told you, the item is a object which has the key as updata, and it defaultly holds the empty string. Now, whenever there is a change, what it would do is that it would update the item use state with the key as updata, and the value as e dot target dot value. So this would give whatever this command e dot target dot value would give us whatever the user is inputting inside the input field. Now, when coming to the submit button, now what happens is that update button, sorry, not the submit button. So what happens is that whenever there is a click on the update button, so as you can see that we are entering something like, let's say, iPhone, okay? So if I click on this update button, then this on click event listener would trigger, and what in turns this event listener would trigger this when submit function. And what when submit function does is that as you can see that it would again prevent its default behavior, which was of refreshing the whole page when we click on the button. So it would prevent that. Now what would do, it would call the function. Now, as I told you, we are passing the props, and inside the props we are passing the function to add the element, or the add to add whatever wish item the user is giving inside the parent array. Now, when this function is called, it would pass this props value. So this sorry, this prop, I'm saying prop, it would pass the use state item as the parameter in it. Now, as you can see that the item is a object with the key as updata, and the value would be whatever the value input user inputted inside the input field. Now, when we come to the app.js, because of this function calling, this add function would get triggered. As you can see that this is the add function. Now this add function would get triggered. How it would get triggered? Because as you can see that the key that we called as a function inside the component holds the function add. Now this is the key. This is the key add to the list, and this add to the key list holds the function add. So it would in turn trigger this function which is inside my app.js. And what it would do is that it would, as I told you, it would call the setter function, and it would update the updata along with the rest of the data inside the pass array. Now, as you can see that again, I'm using this destructured prop over here, not the prop, the parameter, because item is an object, and I'm simply destructuring the object as it only holds a single key. So I'm directly using updata over here. So as I told you, the whatever the value the prop the use state pass variable holds would first get restructured over here, and then it would again add a new data, which is this one. So that's how the data is being added to the array. And now coming to the clear section as well. Let me just come to the clear section, how it is clearing all things. Now, when we click on the clear button, now let me just show you. If we press on the update button, it would give us a list item as iPhone. As you can see, iPhone has been added over here. Now, if I click on clear, let me just add another thing. Let's say iPad. iPad. Now, iPad has been also added. Now, another functionality that we have been asked to add was to clear functionality of clear all. So, if I click on this button, now come let's see what happens. So again, there is a on-click event listener on my clear all button. So if I click on this button, the this event listener would get activated, and it would trigger this set clear all function. Now, what is does that? I have created I've created a function as I told you as I told you that declared a variable which is clear all false. Now I'm using this as a, you can say, a mapping function. It would which would check if the function if the user has pushed the clear all button. Now the default value was false. It means that when we start inputting inside of wish list, the default value would always be false because the user won't have clicked on it. Now, whenever the user clicks on the clear all button, it would trigger set clear all, and the set clear all function takes the E as the input to prevent its default behavior again. As you can see that we are using the buttons object that the object the button has, and it has a function prevent default which would stop the whole page from refreshing just because we are clicking on the clear all button. So it would now it would change the clear all variable to true. Now there's another thing that we can do. We can just simply remove this. Yeah, let's just remove this and it should again work. Just a second, clear all. Just a second, just a second. Okay, just let me just give it true. TRUE. Okay. Now it should just clear. Yes, it is working. One, two, three, four. Yeah, it's working. So yeah, as you can see it that it's working. So just forget about the variable that I just told you. Now, what the set function now currently will do is that it would again call the clear all function, the clear all key. Now, this is the destructured key that as I told you, it is coming from the prop that we passed from the app.js, and this prop property or prop clear all currently holds the function which was delete all. I think it was delete all, yes. No, clear all function. So when we again call the clear all function, it would trigger the function in the app which is currently stored in the app.js, and it would pass on this parameter to it. So let's come to the app.js. So this would trigger this function which is clear all. As you can see that this is another function that we pass to the user input component. So after the this function is called, what would happen? It would check if clear is true. If clear is true, it means that the user has clicked on the clear all button, and now we have to whatever the data the pass use state variable was holding should become zero. So that's why I am using the setter function of the use of the pass variable, and it would set the pass as the empty array. As you can see that empty array, and empty array means that there was no wish item anymore. Now coming to the that's all for the section for the user input. Now coming to the part of printing the data. Now as you can see that the show data is a component which would be helping us to show each and every list item or the wish list item we are adding in it. So as you can see that what I am passing in it, first I'm passing a use state prop. I'm passing a prop use state pass, which is which is the pass use state. So as you can see that I am passing my pass variable as a prop, and also passing another function that I created, which is delete item. It is used for deleting a specific item. So as you can see that this is the another prop or property that I am passing, which is delete item. So now coming to the show data component, as you can see that first I'm destructuring the prop that I'm getting. So the prop contains the send data as a key and delete item as another key. So I'm destructuring it by using this command line over here within the parenthesis. Now, what I'm doing is that I am creating a new array of list item tags, li tags in short, inside my items variable. As you can see that this is the variable. This variable will be holding my array of list item tags. So array of list item tags would be looking like this. This is an array, and it would look contains tags like this. This is one tag, then it would contain another tag which is like this. So this whole is known as the array of list item tags or li tags. So I am using just a second. So yeah, send data, as I told you, is the pass prop that pass use state that was passed as the prop for this whole component. So the pass is currently holding our array of list items or wish list items. So I am using dot map function over that. Now what dot map function does that, as we have previously studied as well, the map function takes a array and it modifies the array and creates a whole new array using the modified elements, using the elements after the modification. So for it would iterate through each and every element inside my pass prop, which I passed from app.js, as you can see that over here. So it would create a new array of the modified element. Now what the modified element would be, as you can see that I am using a arrow function over here. It takes two parameters, which is first item. Now item is the elements or the wish items that is currently inside our array, and it also takes index. Now index is the items position inside the array. Now it would be used as a key for this for one wish list for one li tag, because key is really important in this in the React, because when we want to format or delete something specific within the li tags, then we need a key to specifically mention that particular element only. Because if there isn't any key, then the React itself would get confused that we are not giving it any unique identity. So it would get confused. So that's why, as you can see that first I created a div tag and I gave the key. As you can see that I am passing the index, and now index, as we know, that is unique for each and every element. So the key would hold my index value as the unique identifier, and I am giving this div tag a class name as parent. Now what div tag is holding, our div tag is holding the list item li tag and the item. Now the item is the singular item within the whole array. So how is it happening is that, let me just show you. Now let's say the current list holds elements like this. So what would happen is that map function would create the li tags as the element, and the element would be holding the text or the data as as their corresponding elements within the parent array. So how is it happening is that, just a second, li and this. So this would be our first element. Now, just a second, and it should be li 3. So as you can see that this is how the map function would be working. So first, this element would be passed inside the map function, and it would create a list tag. As you can see that a list tag, and it would place that data within that list tag. And also it, as I told you, we are using the indexes as the key to identify them uniquely. So as I told you, each li tag is within a div tag, and each div tag has a unique identifier, which is the key, and key is representing our index. So if we talk about, let's say, this li tag, so this li tag would be represented by the div tag having the key as 0. And similarly for this one, just a second. This one would be represented by the div tag with the div tag having the key value as 1 because that is the index of the element, and that, similarly for this one. So that is how the map function is creating a variable a variable that would be containing our array of li tags. Now, that is how the passing of the, or you can say the printing of the data is taking place. Now, coming to the deleting section, let me just show that you 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the 4 items. Now, I specifically want to delete the two wish item. So if I click on this button, it should delete it. So as you can see that first the wish items were 1, 2, 3. Now after clicking on the delete button, it's now it's now 1, 3, 4. So if I click on this delete button as well, now as you can see that it's now 1 and 4. So how is it working? So first I also with the li tag I also created the a button which shows delete as the text. As you can see that it is showing delete. Now if I click on that button, what would happen is that it would trigger this on click event listener, and this on click event listener would trigger a arrow function, which is this. Now, what arrow function is triggering? Now, our arrow function is triggering the function that we passed on from the app.js inside our show data component, which was delete item, and it would send index as its parameter. So, what is happening when we come back to app.js? So, this function is being triggered, and the index value it is getting. Now, as I've told you previously, it would first create a temporary array, and it would store whatever the the pass use state is currently holding. It would destructure that and give it to the temp array. Then we would remove that specific element that is at the specific index that is passed from the show data component, and then again it would update the pass component. Now, that is how the deletion is taking place as well. Now, as I told you, the main aspect for using the use state is that it triggers the re-rendering of the whole component. So that's why I used use state in my parent in my app.js, because every time the value is updating, like some if we are adding something, then what should happen? It should re-render the whole component. So after, like if we add one, it would re-render the whole component. So it would again call the use tag, and it would again call the show data component, and the show data component would then would be passed the prop of array prop as an array of only containing one, and it would then go through the whole process, and it would then then render the list as below this wish list item headline. Now, if we are deleting clearing all, or we are clearing all items from it, then as we know that this clear all function would trigger, and what clear all function is triggering? It is triggering the setting function, and the setting function, setter function would again re-trigger the rendering of the whole component, but this time, as you know that the path would be empty, because as I told you, the whatever the changes we have made using the setter function in the previous render can be accessed in the next render as well. So as we know that the pass was again being passed as a prop inside our show data component. So what would happen is that now because the user clicked on the clear all button, which was inside our user input component, it would trigger this setter function. The whole re-rendering would take place. Now it would pass an empty array as a prop, because we have used the setter function in the previous render. And similarly for delete item, what is happening is that if the user clicks on the delete button, which is inside our show data, it would trigger the function that we passed as a prop. And what would happen in at the end of the whole function calling is that we are again using the setter function, which is updating the past use state variable with the new array, and the new array won't be having the element that the specific element that the user wants to delete it. And again, because we are using the setter function, it would trigger the re-rendering of the whole component, and now the pass that we are giving to the show data component would not have that specific element, and that's how the specific element would be deleted from the whole data. As you can see that it is currently happening now. Yes, again, I think I showed you that clear all as well works, and update also, as well works. So as you can see that update is as working as well. Okay, so in the last video or the video up till until now, I forgot to mention about one task, one additional task that we need to take care about. It is an edge case that we need to handle, which was that input field should have proper validation to ensure that the empty wish are not allowed it or not added. For that, what I did, as you can see that in the add function, I first used the trim command. So if that user enters spaces only and did not enter any character or alphanumeric character in it, so what would happen is that it would first trim it and then it would compare it with an empty string, because if there is only spaces in the string or if it is an empty string only, then trim would remove all the excessive white space from both the ends, and if it only contains spaces, then it would return an empty string. So if the final output of data dot trim is an empty string, then it would alert the user saying please enter a wish item before updating the list. And then it would stop the add function then and there only with the help of this return command. So that's how this validation of the input will be taking place. And as you can see that I'll also show you it to you. So as you can see that, let's say I am simply entering something like iPhone. This is entering. Now, if I enter something like triple S, it would also enter. But if I try to enter a simple string which has spaces only, and then try to update it, then it would give me a pop-out or alert message which says please enter a valid wish before updating the list. And similarly, if it is does not have even space, and then we try to submit, then again it would give us the alert message. So that's all for the edge case special edge case that we needed to handle. You can find the link of this project in my Git repository that I have linked in the description down below. Well, that's all. Thank you.